Welcome to this week's special edition. It's Thanksgiving week here in the United States, and so it's things we're thankful for. And yeah, I know it sounds cheesy, but today I want to talk about that I'm thankful for all the Azure services you get for free. And you may knew once about it, you may forgot a whole bunch about it, and so it's time for a little refresher just that you know how much you can do with Azure. And when I talk about Azure Free, I mean the services you get with the Azure Free account. If you had one in the past, feel free to create a new one or go back and see what is available still there. But you can basically break it down into 3 tiers. So you have tier 1, which is you get $200 you can literally use on any service you want. Like all the services, $200 for 30 days. After these 30 days, either it rolls over in a pay-as-you-go plan if you want to, or you stop using the service. The second tier is about just a bit over 25 services that are free for the first 12 months, which means you can use them, you can literally build out creative things, a lab, a proof of concept for your employer. And when you look actually at the website, you see here it says Azure services that are free for 12 months. You have the usuals, the virtual machines, managed disks, you have a lot of database services, but also networking services in it. What's also fun, it has a whole bunch of basically cognitive services that you can use that really allow you to play around and see what is possible with technology. When we go to the third tier, which are services that are basically always free, you will find there's Azure Functions and Logic Apps, which will allow you, for example, to build an application that looks at Twitter. You could follow a handle or a hashtag and run sentiment analysis through cognitive services and then show that to a Power BI dashboard. I linked that video up in this corner where you can actually look at it. I saw when I looked up the video yesterday night that I probably have to redo it. Some things have changed, but once you're in the right app, you can still follow the video. It should still apply and how you can use it. And so you see if you're like a small company, like services that I really like is, for example, Azure Devops. You see here you have 5 users with unlimited private Git repos. You may be a small company and you're not really software developers. I use DevOps actually even for just project management. It's super easy to track, to collaborate specifically with a small team who is doing what and what's the status for each of the tasks, and it's free right there. Another one that is super powerful is the Azure Security Center, and while you don't have a million resources in your Azure subscription, given that you use free services, it's still super powerful for you to get your hands on and see what is possible and then apply that knowledge either to companies you do IT services for or the company you work for. It's actually got renamed. It's now the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So it runs under the Defender name if you're in the Azure portal and look it. So it seems like we at Microsoft need to update this free services page. But there is a lot of beautiful things right in there that are super powerful that you can use. And I will talk a little bit more in the future about what the Defender for Cloud has to offer. Other apps that are free is also in the cognitive services space that you can use up to that many queries that if you're below that threshold, it basically stays free. Almost all cognitive services have a, let's say, freemium price model. And so, for example, Advanced Calendar, not sure if you're familiar with it, it's basically, if you grew up in Switzerland, you know all about it. It's basically every day from December 1st to December 24th, you open a little door and there's a piece of chocolate, a beer, a wine, whatever the Advanced Calendar is. The goal is was like for each advent before Christmas, you get something. And so once, to demonstrate to my colleagues in Switzerland when I was working in the subsidiary in Switzerland, I created this advanced calendar that it's a mobile app, you went on it, it would tell you like make an angry face. You made a selfie, it sends it to cognitive services, see if you're angry or not, and if machine learning, or in this case cognitive services, says yes, you have a match of more than 70% of angry, you were in a draw that day, that like at 3 p.m. local time, it will pick a winner and you won something. And now while this was internal only just to demonstrate that I was able to pull this app off by hiring on Fiverr a developer for a few $100 and get it all done, which was kind of a success story for me, but it's super powerful what you have here. And just to prove it to you, I will also link that video about the advanced calendar I did in 2017 up in whatever corner. YouTube will put it for me so you can take a look at that. But that aside, there is literally many services. I mentioned to you the Azure Advisor is great. You have to check it out. It's at the vendor for cloud, currently named here Azure Security Center. The DevOps, that is always free, that stays with you free. Just because you did one time, that free thing is super powerful. The bot service, you could actually create a chat bot if you want to for all the questions you may get from family or relatives, which is, even for me at Thanksgiving, people have questions. Hey, my monitor doesn't work. Why does that not work? Why is this with Xbox? So I'm thinking about creating a bot for all the standard questions I get, and basically so they can interact with a duplicate of me or with my bot to troubleshoot their solutions. Then Azure Logic Apps, if you're not familiar with it, highly recommend you deep dive with it. It allows you to do a whole bunch of automation. If you're familiar with if this then that, it's a similar principle out of Azure. It always has, specifically for the business world, a lot of connectors for business specific applications that brings it all together, and it's basically a low-code environment. So there is so much beauty, and I really think it is something that is exciting. It's something that is, to be thankful for, because sometimes it's hard to come up with prototypes, or if you want to pitch something at your employer and say, hey, we should do this, we should invest in this project. But it's difficult to build up the prototypes. And since technology has become more accessible in general, things like this really help. If it's just a fun project with family for maybe a hobby of yours and you want to do something with Azure, the possibilities are really unlimited. Not everything you do in the cloud is, big environments like enterprise have. You can really start small, make a miniature project, proof of concept. You will learn a lot, and we know it's key, it's important to always keep on learning. And that's what you can do here for free. And with that, DDiv Kurt out.